What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome. Welcome to the breakdown. Episode 723. Sponsored by IHOP, McDonald's, Burger King, Five Guys, Shake Shack, In-N-Out, Wendy's. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Indeed.com and CareerBuilder.com. That's right. By the way, if anybody's looking to update and clean up their resume, go to DavidGottschalk.com and we have services that will help you out with that. So Midnight is the title sponsor. We have Polymarket as well, along with Cake Wallet and Quad Network. On sale right now. On sale right now is a used Aquasonic Black Series electric toothbrush. I can't tell you how great this toothbrush is. It's been used once, okay? Been used once. But there's 8 extra heads in here. On sale right now. On sale right now. This was $90. You can have this. You can have this right now for $45. That's right. Or a half a Solana will get you this used Aquasonic Black Series toothbrush, and I will sign it. That's right, I will sign it for you. Shipping is free, okay? Shipping and handling is free. Go to davidgokshin.com and add this right now. Also, we got these used beats, okay, that I personally will sign, that I've used during my training sessions. These can be yours, all right? These can be yours. Again, $50. $50. You can have this right now. Head over to davidgokshin.com. Fill out the form. Let me know. First come, first serve. Got a lineup. I got a lineup of suits. Lineup of suits. I will sign the inner part of the jacket. Got some ties and socks. Everything must go. Everything must go. Also, a half full bottle of facial serum from Brickwell. Half full. $24. I got this for free. I will autograph this Apu plushie here, and you can have this for literally $11. Okay, $11. $11. I'm sorry, friend. And your lips. Every single time I see you, your lips kind of. You can have this for $11, okay? $11 autographed. The watch, okay? You can have this right now. This is an expensive ass training watch. Garmin. Expensive. Okay? Expensive ass watch. You can have this right now. $450, okay? It's not even half of this, below half. $450. And I will sign the box. And you know what? You can finance this too. Okay? Affirm. We will have Affirm ready for you. That's right, with 4 easy payments. I'm selling everything. I am selling everything to buy everything, okay? I am selling everything. I'm going on OnlyFans. Tonight, I will embark. It is what it is, okay? And you should not look at me any differently. I am going on OnlyFans. I'll be on the TikTok shop selling you all sorts of scooters, e-bikes, helmets, red light treatment, face things, everything. I'll be on OnlyFans. If I need to bring the oil, if that's what turns you motherfuckers on, since you guys were seeking out Diddy's video the entire week, well, if that's what if the baby oil turns you on, I'll be on OnlyFans with some baby oil, okay? Feet Finder. I'm gonna put my muscular feet on Feet Finder. All right, you cash me on Feet Finder. Listen, I'm doing things. If you need your lawnmower, I can't even speak because I'm like, yo. If you need what the fuck? If you need your grass cut, call me. I will put mulch. I will put mulch down. I'll cut your grass. I couldn't even get a haircut today. Because my car was declined. Overdraft. That's right. I'll cut your grass, though. I'll plant your flowers. Anyway. Somebody asked, massages for ladies. Listen, I'm doing what needs to be done. I am doing massages for ladies. You will sign a waiver. It will be videotaped for my protection. I told you, man. Like, I will sell these earpods also. I fucking lose them anyway. And I have to always fucking play the alert symbol to find them. These can go too. Well, these are the expensive ones, half price. Used, half price. Okay? There you go. Yeah, for my protection, free shipping, by the way, free shipping. And you can finance it with a firm. You have the finance option, 4 easy payments. Yo, that is like my, honestly, on the earpod side, like that is like my fucking 93rd pair. Like I every time I like try to find my device, which is that, like everything goes off. It's crazy, man. Anyway, welcome to the program. Yeah, the fucking Bitcoin. I don't know. Like, let me look and let me see where it's at right now. It's at 61,381. So I had to bounce back up, but we will still continue to go down. There's absolutely no doubt about that. We will still continue to go down. There's nothing that's going to stop this. There's nothing that's going to stop this. Zero. They want to listen. I broke down. I think I did a really good job yesterday breaking down how I feel about what's happening in the markets. You can replay everything that I said yesterday on, obviously yesterday's show on episode 722. But damn. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. What's worse? What's worse right now? The markets or Adam 22 getting divorced by Lena the Plug or whatever her name is? Bro, what you expect when never mind. I ain't gonna even get into that. I'll fucking get banned from TikTok or some shit. Let's see what Polymarket has right now. Obviously, we have Polymarket as a sponsor. And besides them being a sponsor, I consistently look at Polymarket to see what the fuck is going on. Okay. This ain't Trump's fault, by the way. I already explained what's happening here. If you don't get it, you don't get it. You don't get it, you don't get it, man. Polymarket, right on it. Polymarket. Polymarket says this, though. I don't know. I want to see if you guys agree with this. Polymarket says there is a... Let me pull this up. Well, they said just in, Bitcoin crashed below $60,000 for the first time since 2024. That was 32 minutes ago. Obviously, right now, it's above 61,000. But they say there's a 78% chance Strategy announces a Bitcoin purchase this week. So let's see what happens, man. Listen, this could have been the play. This could have been Michael Saylor's strategy. Though I gave my take. I think BlackRock and some others also. There's a lot of things obviously going into why the markets are where they at in crypto. But one of the things I said, one of the things of many things that I talked about was, and there's been conversation for a long time. They don't like the fact that Saylor has 4 to 5% control or supply of Bitcoin. So this could be, BlackRock. BlackRock, again, like I said, Saylor is retail to BlackRock. That's how they view him, along with the rest of the big boys. So, hey, let's go ahead and mess around and fuck around and find out here. Listen, Landy can have his own opinion. Everybody can have their own opinion. I'm stating what I believe, okay? Forget just the 4-year cycle. Forget about the 5-year business cycle. I put that out there today, the 5-year business cycle. It said, is this what the 5-year business cycle looks like? That's exactly what I tweeted. Is this what the 5-year business cycle looks like? Also, it's what I've been stating for the last few days. People running into AI stocks. People are running into, obviously trying to get into SpaceX. Could you fault them? No. What has crypto done? Nothing. Stock market, only up. Crypto, only down. But then again, it's like crypto only down. We're close to a bottom. You should see some people start putting liquid towards Bitcoin and some of the other major assets within the crypto space. Should start seeing it. But again, when? Maybe it is 2 to 4 months from now. We shall see. We shall see. But that's Polymarket. And I got to tell you, I've been watching Polymarket about this, the race for mayor out there in Los Angeles. What a crock of shit. And I'll get into that later today. What a crock of shit. But we got Landy here for 15 minutes, and then he'll be back. But we got Landy here for 15 minutes to go over and review the market. Let's bring him in real quick. I don't know if this will be a short episode. I have no clue, but we'll see. Good morning, Landy. What's going on? Landy, you can unmute yourself. I know you're on another space or eavesdropping, but You're on this. We'll bring Landy back on when he's. I don't know. Landy can't unmute himself, I guess. We'll bring.
Hello, am I working? Is this working? Is this
Yeah,
thing
you're
on?
working now.
Okay, hi. Hello.
What's going on, Landy?
I'm enjoying the timeline right now. Price action heading to the exact areas that I've been talking about for quite some time. Yes, I'm going to keep saying that, by the way, because I know it frustrates some people. But it's okay. You can't beat 100%. And in this case, this is a more than 100% round trip from everybody telling everybody on the timeline that $82,500, $83,000, we're going to the moon, bear market over. That's just not how price action works, quite frankly. So, I actually, there is something very important that's going on in price action, jokes aside, that I think, you know, I should probably show, to be quite honest, David, because this is a key area, obviously by the lows, but it's a key area for a few different reasons for Bitcoin, and by extension, the wider crypto space. I've spoken about this before with you many times. You've seen this chart. I've shown it on my market updates. We had the big compression to a very big expansion, right? We had some mean reversion. We tested the low side of the breakdown, high side of this lower high structure here. But Bitcoin, dug into the zone of interest in and around the halving, right? We had the new all-time high prior to the halving for Bitcoin. Things went and trended down sideways and hit the ETF spike highs. We had a 49K as a spike high. Coming into the ETF launches before a bit of a sell-off and then new all-time highs. This is a very big zone of interest that Bitcoin's playing around. And currently we're moving from a very big expansion to a compression. There's a few things that could happen here that I think need to be talked about. And that is that while we could see a bounce in and around the lows here, we have to be very aware that even on bounces up, even aggressive bounces up, if we were to see that, doesn't do anything below this last higher high, because we've now broken the shorter term time frame uptrending structure, and we're right at a key level for volatility. So we could get a bounce here because we are still moving into this compression. But if this does break down, what we're going to see is lower prices, right? If we do see Bitcoin close the weekly, which it can save itself, it can even wick down. By the way, it can even wick down all the way into the mid 50s. But if it closes below 60K here and loses the low, we will be back in expansion on the weekly to test the bottom side of this range over here, top side of this area here, and more importantly, this big lower high from the prior cycle. This was a lower high in multiple time frames, or it's a lower high in the monthly. In this case, it was an uptrending bearish structure. And quite honestly, what we saw last time, that we saw a very similar structure to what we very similar, not the same, but very similar. This uptrending structure after the all-time high, we broke to lower lows. We had lower highs relative to that. And then a big dump off, a little bit of a buyback around these lows here, and then another dump off, capitulation, continuation down. But this is key to understand that right here, right now, if we start to get closes below 60K on the weekly, we're looking at things heading to the downside on expansion, targeting the mid to low 50s initially, and then we await further resolution to the downside if we get continuation from there. This is a big area of interest, though. So if this bounces here, what I'm trying to say is a lot of people are going to be like, told you so, 60K was the low, and we just swept it and you're going to be late. There's nothing pointing to that right now. Even if we saw an aggressive rally from here, it doesn't matter anywhere below, around $82,500, $83,000, which is this area overhead. So And this is kind of what I've been looking for. I've been looking for this to come back down, retest the lows, and then start to set up for either expansion further down for another leg, which I think is far more probable than not. Um, but this is where this is where we want to see things right now. As for me, as an analyst, as a trader, I want to see what happens here on the weekly closes. Um, because this is going to either resolve in a big leg to the downside, or it's going to cause a bounce. And then we wait to see if we get that big leg to the downside a little bit later after getting some more excitement into the markets. Right now, all markets are selling off globally. Everyone's preparing in cash for that SpaceX IPO. So, not a big surprise to see traditional markets, commodities, oil, and everything else also on the downtick. So, wouldn't be, we're going into the weekend, wouldn't be surprised to see if we don't get a concrete breakdown on the daily of 60K, here today. I wouldn't be surprised to see lower term time frame bounces, but beware if we start seeing a weekly close below 60K, then we're gonna hit those mid
You know,
50s and low 50s.
I don't know. Fuck my
It's not,
fucking.
it's not fearful. This is actually what you want to see in a bear market. This is healthy price action in a bear market, even though it doesn't look great, even though it doesn't feel great for many holders.
I'm going to say that a lot of there's people aren't scared. Like the thing that you are advocating for to see people cry on the timeline, I don't see it.
Oh,
I think
they're
people are
crying
more
now. Right now, they're
no.
crying.
I mean, people are like for me. I'm anticipating.
Yeah, smart ones are anticipating. The rest are crying.
Like I don't care. It's like okay. Like for me, it's more like yo, let's rip the band-aid off. Let's send it. Everybody wants this $49,000 number or 40s. What? Rip the band-aid off. Rip it
Mhm.
off. Send it there. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Rip it off. Send it there already. Well, what? I don't fuck this slow bleed shit. Rip it. Send it. Like you
Well,
want to scare the shit out of people on a roller coaster? Send it down into the 40s.
the alternative is, I'll be quite honest, the most painful thing would just be a slow grind. And honestly, that's why people are so frustrated right now. Just not just in Bitcoin, but in the crypto space in general for most of the majors. It was a slow grind, right? It was a slow grind here. It was a slow grind in 24. It was a slow grind in 25. It was even a slow grind at the highs, at the all-time high. So I wouldn't I the issue here is though, we are seeing that there's a lot of spot selling going on, right? So there's a lot of spot ETF redemption. So that's spot pressure to the downside. This is going to be 13, almost probably going into 14 days in a row that we're seeing redemptions from the spot ETFs. And this isn't just for Bitcoin, this is all the ETFs. Um, that's spot selling pressure. And what we're seeing is that the perps markets, we're getting a lot of people in perps markets that are trying to bet on this being the low. And then they've been trying to bet ever since 80 to 82 or so. They've been betting on this thing going back up. They've been going long. And we are seeing that we have probably I'm looking at it right now. We've got still about 1.5 to $2 billion in open interest to be wiped out, because at these same prices, we were, in an actual true capitulation for a lot of these traders. We were seeing that last time we were down here, we were $2 billion less, right? And that tells me that there's a lot of longs coming into the market. That's a lot of liquidity. Their stops and their liquidations are lower in the mid to low 50s, and they're probably going to get taken. I mean, if I was a betting man, 75-25, they're going to get taken. And they'll definitely get taken if we see a nice bounce from here, any kind of substantial bounce, especially on dailies. They're going to start going long like crazy, and they're all going to get wiped out. That's my take on it, for that in particular. And honestly, the smart, savvy people here view this as we have been cooking in traditional markets. We're in a bear market in cryptocurrencies. Let's go hunt value. And then you have areas of interest that you're going to start, accumulating, right? More and more on the way down. And that's a smart play. Um, Yeah, well, we'll see where
I
things
think
land.
people are looking to maybe get out of their current positions, and right now, whatever they're in, whether it's Bitcoin, whatever it is, and allow the market to continue to go down, put themselves in stables, and just wait until the market goes down. But like that's a tricky fucking play.
Yeah,
That's
that,
very tricky.
yeah, it
Because
is.
I respect all you motherfuckers that do TA, but like at the end of the day, like
Well,
it pops towards the upside, and now you're fucked.
no, I mean, I'm positioned really well, myself personally, but there is a lot of people chasing because they're not actually there's not a lot of people that actually manage positions very well in this space, and that's where bigger players come in and take their liquidity, right?
Yeah, but
They go and they
what I'm
lever
saying
up
is like
and they get their liquidity
we're
taken.
hovering around this range again, the 59 to 60, 61, whatever it is.
Mhm.
Nobody knows for sure if we're going to 40,000, right?
Um, I mean, no one knows for sure that we're going into the
You say for
40s.
sure that you know
No,
it's
but it is
40,000. Like let's go play
it's
the
a
lottery and
higher
fuck the markets.
it's a higher probability than not. So, for instance, I'm short from the local structure. I'm short at 79.5. I wasn't trying to top pick that tick at 82, 83, 82 to 83. I waited for daily structure to start breaking down. So I took my shorts at 79.5. You ain't shaking me out, right? I'm taking profits in this
But
area and
you
lower.
believe that we're going to 40.
I'm the when I say this is not a prediction game. This is a where are the levels of interest game. So is there a path to 40 or is there a path to the mid 40s? Right here on the chart. Absolutely. We start breaking the lows. There's a path to the mid to upper 40s. Right down to the first bear market lower high of the prior cycle where we have the ETF highs coming in around there. So I mean 48 to 50K is absolutely a viable target. Mid 50s first and then down maybe some bounces there because there's some weeklies, but there's absolutely a case to be made for mid 40s, upper
Some
40s
some people
at
would say, why
minimum.
would it stop in the mid 40s?
Oh, it doesn't have to stop there. It can go even lower.
How much lower can it go?
I mean, from a technical standpoint, what I'd be looking for in this kind of an area is I'm going to point out there's this structure here. So if we were to lose, I'm just going to highlight this when we get the right stuff here. Um, if I was going to highlight this and you're looking for the liquidity as I click around, um, you have this entire zone, right? And then realistically on higher term timeframes, you have this entire zone, right? For liquidity, right? And if you go down to a weekly, there is a zone in between, right? So the case to be made is that if we hit the downside area of this zone, there is another weekly area of interest between 38.5 and 49K, right around the prior when Bitcoin was going into its bull market, it stalled into the ETF launch right around the prior bear market lower high, right? This kicked off the actual bear market on higher term timeframes and became the lower high. So there is a case to be made that you could start looking in these areas, and those are absolutely viable targets. And it's
I'm
just
tell
it's a matter
I
of
gotta
beating
tell you,
conditions,
at
though.
one point, I gotta this is a serious thought here,
What's up?
and I'm not gonna be sarcastic. At some point, because there are a lot of new people that tune in and watch the show,
Sure.
or there are people that have been in this space and they're just frustrated. And it's not because they're not smart or the IQ is low. And this is also from an outside perspective. I can't believe I'm gonna even reference Peter Schiff. I can't believe I'm gonna fucking do that. But that you have look, I have Bitcoin, so like I'm fine with whatever the fuck happens. I don't care. Like I'm one of those people. I just don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a lot of us who just don't give a fuck. So if the price continues to, if Bitcoin continues to move this way and it doesn't start to stabilize like gold, I don't know. How do I put this without having an argument with you?
I feel like
The-
what you're
the-
describing is people who've never been in a bear market before.
no. That's not who I'm describing, because what I'm saying is gold for 8 to 12 years, the trend is up. I'm not saying it didn't stall out. I didn't say that it would pull back, but the corrections on Bitcoin are still heavy.
Yeah, so we still
It's
have
good for it's good for traders, but when you're talking about it being this generational asset, this is from a retail standpoint.
Mhm.
Why would I go into this when I can just go into the traditional markets? I'd rather be
Why
in gold or in
why
silver.
why
I
would you
understand the
okay.
energy component. I understand everything. We can break it down. I'm
No, no,
telling
no,
you
no. I
from a
first off, you're talking
retail
about
perspective.
why would you look at value in one market and compare it to so you're looking at discount in one market versus premium in another. You don't
Yeah,
just
but it's
look at
not
it and
gold is
go,
not as
"Oh, premium
volatile.
because it's premium, I'm gonna go over there." You buy when there's a discount in the market.
But gold is not this volatile.
Gold has okay. This is no. This is not
But it's the truth. Right
this is not
now, it's
true.
not as volatile.
No, this is false.
Okay.
Gold went through
It
a m
retraces 90%?
gold no, but it went down quite a lot, cycle to cycle for gold
No,
when
I
you're
get
looking at gold cycles.
I said that. I just said that. But I'm saying in
So,
general, from a retail, from a uh,
you're talking about an asset.
I am playing devil's advocate. Uh, Forget about what I really feel. But from a retail perspective, if I'm telling somebody and talking to somebody about Bitcoin, they'll point out that gold is not as volatile as Bitcoin. Bitcoin retraces 70, 75%. Gold doesn't do that.
Yeah, okay.
So why would I get into no, I'm serious. This will be the conversation. Like, why would I get into Bitcoin? If this is if the 4 year cycle, if the cycles are still intact and all this, if this is what Bitcoin's about, why would I get into it? Except, yeah, to be in and out real quick, what case is there? And that's a hard thing to answer.
Gold's not volatile? It's not volatile for long periods of time, and then it goes through periods of very high volatility. Okay? This is
I don't know
this
if
is
like my monitor must be, hold on. I'm back right now. Shit, man. This fucking monitor is just not working with my fucking system. But what'd you say?
gold goes through long periods of consolidation, right? And very long periods of consolidation where it's lower volatility. Years and years and
Hold
years,
on, let me
decades,
see.
in fact. I don't know,
Let me switch
can
up.
people
Hold
hear me
on,
on the
let me
stream?
just switch up my my audio, man. Go ahead, Lynn.
Okay, so gold goes through very low volatility periods, right? For extended periods of time, consolidation, right? So you've seen that gold had a 71% drawdown from the 1979 to 1980 high until it hit the lows and double bottomed back in 2000. From that time period, right? You had an increase in gold. You had a 654% move. We saw another consolidation from 2011 until we saw the lows come in 16. From there, we've seen a 430%. It's just a more mature asset. It's
Correct.
not you
So
can't
that's why people
compare
would say, like, why would I mess around with Bitcoin when I can go into gold?
because you're early to something that is highly volatile that is going to strip volatility away in the longer term.
I am playing again. I'm going to say this again. I'm playing devil's advocate. This is how retail's looking at it. Do not think for 1 second they're like, yo, if this shit is gonna, if I'm a multimillionaire and you're telling me about Bitcoin, like, okay, like this doesn't make sense for me.
Okay, well,
Right? No, no, I get it. Backed by energy. We can talk about all
multimillionaires
the
are
things that
typically not
Bitcoin is backed
retail.
by and why. But it's just like, okay, do I want this as an asset in terms of
Okay.
peer to peer
I'm gonna get can I
transactions?
answer you? Can I answer you?
Yeah,
Because
go ahead.
this is what you want to see for something like Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin versus gold chart. Okay. It isn't a long form consolidation. This is a consolidation. And what you want to see if you're in, in commodities, if you're in, and you're looking at Bitcoin on the longer term timeframes, this is the entire history of Bitcoin versus gold. We have a macro consolidation, and we have a macro consolidation in Bitcoin against traditional markets as well right now. And that's to be expected. In fact, for anybody complaining about volatility, let's remember that we went up from the lows to the new highs, which is actually over here because we did deviate to new all-time highs. Because guess what? Bitcoin outperformed from 2022 right up until 2024 in December. It outperformed gold. But in the macro context, it's just a big range. So in this case, what did we see? Bitcoin's has been very volatile, both to the upside and downside, and its appreciation versus gold is 410 million%. And now it is underperforming gold because it's in a bear market, and gold just took off to the upside. And that's actually what you want to see. This is discount. Anywhere below this low is discount, in fact, because this whole structure could be available if gold continues to run, because it might be on a year's long run, with shorter consolidations in between, even months long consolidations in between, but it might be on a year's long run. The point being is, well, there is areas where it could break down, but point being that this is a macro consolidation. So if people are complaining about the volatility and performance of Bitcoin, this is actually the best time to start looking at the actual discount versus gold and traditional markets, because you want to see a macro consolidation. You want to see that volatility coming down. You want to see how this asset matures in the longer term. It's actually the best time to be looking at things. And when people are looking
Man,
at traditional markets right now, give me a second. When people are looking at traditional markets
well, you
right
got to give me
now,
a second also, because like I'm giving
they're
you
at a
5 minutes
premium.
and I get 30 seconds. So like we got to
Well,
give each other time here.
because the point is traditional markets, people that are fleeing to traditional markets right now, likely local top buyers, and they're ignoring value on the way down in these markets is my point. And
No,
you
but
want to buy
you even have
discount, sell premium.
you have top voices in crypto that are fleeing crypto and going
Good.
and have
Go
been,
away.
no, but they haven't just start. They didn't just start pouring the money into the traditional markets. They've already been trading into the traditional markets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they've been making money on
Yeah.
whatever
I
Tesla,
trade
whatever it is
traditional
we want to go
markets.
ahead and
I've
name
been in
out.
traditional
Gold,
markets for
silver, oil, like
25 years,
they've been doing that.
26 years.
Say that again.
I said, me too. I've been in traditional markets. I have
Okay,
a robust stock
but
portfolio,
their
but
whole
it's
thing
like,
is like I'm out of crypto because like and like I understand this could be the bottom because people are talking this way. So this can be like the thing that you've been looking for, or others have been looking for, is for the timeline to cry, like you said. But like, you know what? Do we speak like this in the tradition? I was thinking about this. Do we speak like this in the traditional world?
yes.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, have you
Only
ever
in
worked on
crypto
Wall
do we
Street
talk like this.
or
Like
in
we want to see
Chicago?
people cry, and we really want to see the
Have
capital.
you? Yeah. Yeah. No, this
We
is
don't talk like
where
this
do you
in
think
in
crypto,
TradFi. I don't talk about that.
where do you think crypto guys got it from?
We, I'm okay. Okay.
Where do
No
you think they got it from? We're literally replicating TradFi products on chain. That's what we've been doing for the past, decade plus.
I'm going. I like because like when we come onto this show, I can be ultra bullish on Bitcoin, continue to be bullish on Bitcoin, and it's great. I love Bitcoin, and I love crypto. But at the end of the day, man, like the question continues to come up, and I know it's a baby. And if you're new to the show, you can replay all the shows. And I've mentioned this multiple times. I know it's a baby. We know it's a baby, but people are like, yo, this is not a hedge against inflation. Let's call it for what it is, though, right? Right? It's not a hedge, and now you know what I got to say. Institutions look bad. institutions look really bad for saying like, yo, like this is, even though it is, but this is a generational asset. You got to get in and got to get in. And this was being sold to people at 127, right? 126, 127. Larry and everybody were on TV talking about Bitcoin, generational, I miscalculated, all that stuff. And I understand this is long term. So don't let that go over your heads. Don't take the words out of context. But right now, it's just like, yo, like this asset really goes from 126, currently went under 60, and now we're talking about it can go into the 30s. Why would I be here? Unless you're a trader who's shorting and long in the markets. Like most of these people are not shorting or long in the markets. They don't know what an RSI is or MAC. They don't know how to look at charts. Like 90% of this space doesn't know what the fuck they're looking at. They're spot buying. That's it. They're going based off of what's being said on social media. Most of them are. To say that everybody's in perps and all this shit it's not true. Most of these people are fucking just holding things, going, and that's it. Landy, are you making money? Yeah, you're up and down. You're making money. There's nothing against you. This has absolutely nothing against you,
David. These are the
we
conversations.
gotta call it for what it is. Like, because I'm sitting here and I love listening. If we're talking about us who are experienced in the markets, fine. Yeah, let's talk about us being experienced bros in the goddamn crypto market. But for the people that have looked at this, outsiders, all this, like this doesn't look. No, I'm sitting and telling you honestly. For me, I'll take 35,000. Give me 35,000. I'll continue to buy. I don't give a fuck. It does not look good, especially when institutions are officially out there as mouthpieces at 126 all the way down into the 30s. That looks terrible. Horrific.
Yeah, it's no worse than any other markets out there.
No, you can't say that.
Yes,
man,
I can.
Other things, when we look at Bitcoin isn't a stock.
I have the data to back it up.
Bitcoin isn't a stock. Okay. Bitcoin is not a stock. And that's where people get confused with when they talk about Bitcoin, they claim it as a stock. It's not a
People get
stock.
wrecked in the stock market all the time.
I get it.
What are you
But
talking
there
about?
is, like, when I look at the stock market, I look based on there's so much data to the stocks. There's revenue. There's a lot of things that you look
Yeah.
at.
We've had this conversation. I told you.
But-
That's
well,
why
that's what I'm saying.
the crypto market and TradFi, you were going to see tokenized assets, stock tokens, and RWAs absolutely kill it in the crypto space. They're
See,
going to cook.
I don't know if I should answer Crypto Glenn because like he's never watched any of my shows. He hasn't watched me for 10 years. So he'll come in here. Guy, if you want me to just push people towards your fucking outlet, just say so. And just say that you've never watched me, you never heard of me, you never followed me. Do I know how long it took gold? Gold started to go up after he got his ETA. Go pull up a chart. I've said this so many times. Stop. Stop it.
So here's the thing.
I can tell when people watch my show or follow me and they don't. Like, stop it. You TikTok bros selling you ebooks. Like, stop. Not off of my channel, man. Don't make me come out with an ebook. I'm being nice.
If you were in the stock market here in 01, before the big drawdown, the dot-com bubble burst, if you were here in 08, before the financial crisis and the collapse, if you bought and you just held, you're doing fine, right? That particular top blast entry for those people was a nice, beautiful higher low entry that people were bragging about years later, right? So in this case, when you look at Bitcoin, if you look at Bitcoin, and we look at, if you bought this high, if you bought this high, if you bought, all of these highs all the way through, right? You're looking at this and you're going, okay, you're not in that bad of a position. Do you have to endure a drawdown, would you say that buying stocks in '01 and '08 at the highs wouldn't have created generational wealth for your family? Like, of course, if you were able to hold and not puke your positions in your portfolio on the way down, but instead accumulated and buy the discounts, you made generational wealth. This long form consolidation versus USD, and more importantly, this Bitcoin versus gold chart or Bitcoin versus equities charts, you can pull up any one of them, and you see that this is a long form consolidation where it has held parity on the highs with things, but it's had to play catch up, but it's traded primarily at a discount. I don't disagree when they get on TV and say that it's a generational asset. I agree with them. So this is something that I believe.
Well, you don't agree when they say what?
No, I said I agree with them when they say it's a generational asset.
Okay.
I do because my point being is you could have bought at the top of '01 and the top of '08, right? Into these huge financial crisis, the dot-com bubble, the financial crisis. You could have bought the top. And, 4 to 5 years later, that was the bottom that everyone was bragging about tagging and buying, right? So you could have bought the top in Bitcoin all these years on the way up. If you have a long-term time horizon for it, you're still sitting pretty, right? And the point being is you could just buy the tops. And as long as you don't look at it and you can endure the drawdowns, you look back years later and you go, "Oh, beautiful. That was a great buy." The big thing with Bitcoin here in this case is if you're involved here and you did top blast, you should be buying the discount. You should be present and ready to buy on the way down and capture that discount. And then you'll be able to look back at this at much lower averages and see that you are in a generational position. When you're talking generational, that's not this cycle or next cycle. That's many cycles down the line. That's what generational means. It's not the next 2 years, the next 5 years. It's the next 10, 15, 20 years when they're talking about generation. So I don't disagree with that.
What generational wealth?
Generational wealth is generational. It is one generation to the next.
Okay. And
80-year time
when
horizons,
Cathie
literally.
Wood comes out there, and Michael Saylor comes out, and Larry Fint, and they say that it's going to $1 million in the next 4 to 8 years.
Well, I disagree with them on that.
They're all saying it.
I haven't heard Larry Fink say it's going to $1 million in the next 4 to 8.
He said it. It's $1 million asset.
I didn't hear him say that, but someday it will be $1 million. I ain't putting a time frame on that. I think it's going to take a lot longer than people expect, because it is a macro consolidation.
This is a 50-year business cycle.
Yeah,
Well, there's no cycle.
there is cycles, and they're very clear. It's not every equity indice and asset reacts the same way. There's different sectors, there's different risk profiles, and some things outperform when we are in down cycles and bear markets. Some things outperform, and there's always something that is performing well. You have to be able to find it, but in order to find it, you have to be present when it is looking like crap. When it looks like crap and it looks like it's going to puke and it's horrible, you start paying attention, because that's when you're around to see when it's starting to turn around on the other side, and you can capture that discount and capture that value. And my point being is I don't disagree. I look, I'm a trader. But I'm also an investor. I invest in the stock market. I invest in real estate. I invest in all kinds of things. I am a hodler of cryptocurrencies, primarily Bitcoin, right? I hedge my positions on the way up in bull markets. I take shorts to hedge against the downside, right? Because me personally, I'm here to keep collecting Bitcoin. So I'll take those stablecoin hedges and go short, right? And when the market looks like this on the Bitcoin versus gold chart, when it looks like this, when it looks like crap on the monthly here with a monthly lower high, we have a lower low and a lower high now. Likely we'll see where we finish out this month, but very high probability that this is going to be the lower high at 82.5. This would be the bear market lower high. You could say the analogous was 48,240 over here for the prior cycle. But this is when you want to pay attention, is this is all discount territory here and lower. So just have a plan to accumulate. You hold on. I'm not going to begrudge anyone for saying that it's a generational asset. What I do begrudge people for is saying that it cannot go below X number because of XYZ, because that's just ridiculous. It doesn't matter if it was Bitcoin, it doesn't matter if it was gold, it doesn't matter if it was stocks. When you make when people here on this application, on X, on TikTok, on where YouTube, when they get out there and they say, well, we had this big sell-off and because of XYZ reasons and institutions and this and that, cycles are dead, that's dead, this is dead, it's all adoption phase now. And then say things like it can't go below this number. They're making definitive statements that they can't back up in, and it's pure bullshit, right? Because that's just not how markets move. That's not how auctions work. And we're operating in the furthest end of the risk curve right now in cryptocurrencies, where there is a distribution of long-term holders that needs to functionally, it needs to happen, right? And it has not happened. It has not, and honestly, you want to see it happen in a slow, methodic manner. You want to see macro time frame compression of price action. You want to see everybody kind of be quiet about it, lose interest in it, go away, scream and cry, and then walk away from it, because then price action is going to start hitting levels where you've shaken out the weak hands. You've liquidated all of the traders that are taking blind bets against the trend, and then you start seeing the large money go in and accumulate. And you should be accumulating with that large money. They're just not here accumulating right now. They're the ones that are selling down, are the bigger players, the institutions, the miners, the bigger players in the space, a lot of OGs, although we still haven't even seen like massive OG wallet movement for Bitcoin. We saw a little bit of it at the highs, but we haven't seen it like what we've seen in prior cycles, even there. Because for the biggest holders here, they're just going to keep holding and they'll sell at premium prices because they actually know what they're doing. It's going to take a long time for this to distribute. It is a generational asset. There's a few generational assets in the cryptocurrency space. It's just a matter of can you withstand the actual bear market periods when you should be here and be happy that you're even here to see where things fall and where the chips lay at the end of the day, so you can capture the most value out of it.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 723. We're talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin went under $60,000 today. Let me see where is it at right now. I'm gonna look at G Markets to see where it's at right now.
60,700, but yeah, go ahead and pull it up.
60,700.
Should be somewhere around there for spot. Depends on which indexer and Oracle it pulls from, or which API it's pulling from. Should be somewhere around there.
60,715.
There you go.
That's right. By the way, this show is sponsored by my my album comes out. My album comes out. Hold on.
Killing me, dude.
My album comes out next month. It's called I Don't Give a Fuck. And the single is I Don't Give a Fuck. So there you go, man. So check that shit out when it does come out. Dropping next month. Album's called I Don't Give a Fuck. All right. Bitcoin's at 60,715. For me, again, I have to play devil's advocate, because if we're going to just be here and we're going to speak to each other and be super bullish, then like there really isn't no conversation. There are people that DM me and ask me all the time, like they counter me. And they're like, okay, what about this? Even like forget about people DMing me. In real life, people ask me questions about Bitcoin, and you explain it to them. And even now, when they got convinced because their favorite analyst was on CNBC, like Jim Cramer, who they'll listen to Jim Cramer over any one of us. It doesn't really matter who you are, because that's a familiar face.
Nobody in TradFi listens to him.
No, but you get what I'm saying. Like when you see these people who invest in TriFi, they've never touched Bitcoin. They went into Bitcoin because they would tune in to Fox Business or CNBC, and they're like, "Oh shit, okay, they're talking about Bitcoin," and they see obviously the CEO of BlackRock, and you have ARK on there. They're all bullish on Bitcoin. People got into Bitcoin, right? And that might not be physical Bitcoin either. I'm talking about ETFs, right? The boomers are more inclined to listen to mainstream media than to any one of us. And that's the truth. I don't know what the fuck my dogs are barking. Give me 1 second, man.
Sure. Put my chart up if you can. So this is primarily this zone right here that Bitcoin is trading in. With this monthly, we had the ETF launches, we had the pullback to a big monthly, and then we had this consolidation and then retest down. This is the bulk of capital flows that was coming into the spot ETF side of things. And then we did see a bull run. Bulls ran, not as far as many wanted it to, but to many of the areas that I've been talking about with David and that I talked about at the time, especially around the all-time high. And now we've put in a monthly lower high here. It has yet to confirm. We got a long month to go, and we're testing the bottom side of a lower low structure. So we have, this is bear market territory. If this becomes a lower high right around the previous high side structure on a closing basis for, this area here from prior cycle, then we're really just looking the next levels down. So when people say, "Oh, can you see potentially, aggressively lower prices?" Absolutely. And in fact, I could absolutely see, especially on a monthly, any closes below, 58 to 60K, starting to expand down into anywhere from on the longer term timeframes, 38,000 to 48,000. Could those get front run? 40,000 to 50,000? Absolutely. There's nothing saying that it can't. Where does that change? If we start seeing weeklies and then of course monthlies close back above this, especially if we close anything like this back above this lower high now at 82.8, then everything kind of changes, right? That's when we start to see things turn around and change. I'm of the opinion that we see another leg down. It's not a foregone conclusion. We need to see it break and close on the weekly time frame, and get expansion down into the mid 50s, mid to low 50s, and then eventually down to some of the key areas, upper 40s to 50, and then maybe it goes for 38 to some of the weeklies in there in the mid 40s. That's absolutely. There's people looking far lower than I am. I'm not necessarily looking that low. I'm taking it one level at a time, evaluating and understanding what trend we're in and where I want to accumulate. And I will adjust my accumulation range if we have a structural change, either on the weekly or monthly, that changes my outlook on looking potentially further lower. That's all. It's very simple. And for those that are complaining about this, remember, when you see those that are leaving, this happens every cycle, every bear market cycle. And well, equities are outperforming and Bitcoin and crypto is underperforming. Yeah, no shit. Like it's a bear market. We broke structure. Traditional markets did not. They've been ripping. This is the furthest end of the risk curve, which is where you're going to find the most opportunity, but also the most volatility to the upside and downside. In many cases, we are going to see that volatility to the upside and downside decrease over the longer term, though. And then eventually it will resolve in much bigger moves. It will just be, periods of long form consolidation versus other assets and equities. And I think that that's fair to say. I don't think it's that controversial, although people try to kill me over it on the timeline.
Well, no, nobody look. Nobody's trying to kill anybody. It's just that at the end of the day, I'm just like, you know what? I sit back and I do have, like I say this again. I enjoy having conversations with people, whether they're new to the space or they've been here for 3 years or whatnot, and like they ask these questions. They're like, what's the point? And then you watch others that I don't even talk to. I've watched some of these other shows and people talk and they're like, yo, there's no point. Because like if you're going from 126 to all the way, like people are talking about 25,000, 35,000. Yeah, for me it's a buying opportunity. I don't give a shit. Like I don't need anybody to tell me what kind of asset Bitcoin is. That's not the conversation. Nobody's going to tell me what kind of asset Bitcoin is. I'm going to buy it at all levels. I don't really care. The more I can get, the better. But for other people, they're like, you know what? AI stocks, all this stuff. Like, I'd rather go make money. I rather go put my money into something that's going to make me money, man. I'm done with the 4-year cycle.
And what's funny is those same people are having those conversations in and around local tops every single time in those markets.
Wherever
So they get frustrated here, then go get wrecked elsewhere.
But you know what? To them, they see a better opportunity in TriFi versus crypto. And that's really it. They see they'd rather lose in TriFi than lose in crypto. You can understand
they're just losers all the way around because they don't know how to trade. They don't know how to manage their portfolio. They should give it to a professional.
I'm just saying, I can understand them when they say like, I rather lose in traditional markets than in crypto. Like there is an argument to be made. Let's go ahead and bring in though Rob. We won't go to commercial break, but shout out to Midnight, obviously the title sponsor. Shout out to Polymarket. We brought up Polymarket. Polymarket said there was a 74, 78% chance that Strategy might buy Bitcoin again. We'll see if that works out, the high percentage. I wouldn't be shocked to hear that Michael Saylor or Strategy went ahead and bought Bitcoin. I wouldn't be shocked. Cake Wallet, Quiet Network. Let's go ahead and bring on these two guys to duel it out here. Let me shut that off correctly here. Let's bring in. He always uses my name and shit. He's at I don't know where he's at.
I'm at a horse ranch in Virginia.
You're not disappearing anymore. Like you're here. Don't worry. You're live. We see you.
I see myself. I'm in a horse ranch. I've been working, putting up fence posts.
You're in a horse ranch.
Yeah, in Virginia. Bunch of stallions.
Nice.
So I'm putting up fence posts for one of the corrals.
I'm happy that you're getting out there.
Yeah, got to stay alive in nature.
I was going to say something. Never mind.
Yeah, you know what? Don't even start, because if you show me that picture, Landy, you've seen this picture of his "I Don't Give a Fuck" album, like his gay whatever, and he says the mic thing. Seriously, is that picture? What's he doing with the arm thing there in that picture?
You guys don't. Well, it was fun, TikTok. I'm sure.
What is the picture? What's with the arm thing like this? What are you?
It's called being a sex symbol. You wouldn't understand. Anyway, let's you had one good day yesterday, and now you're fueling yourself, like literally fueling yourself in all ways. All right, let's go to politics. I know you're excited to talk about that. Yesterday you came on again. You sub. I'm gonna say you subtweet. That's how you go about it. You subtweet. So you give backhanded compliments. So you're like, oh, Trump is doing that, great. You went back 40 years. Obviously, you showed your age with it, and then you gave a backhanded compliment yesterday.
And I showed that I know how to use. I showed that I can use YouTube and find clips of Donald Trump from the 80s.
Nice.
Talking about.
It's nice. You still use a mouse? You still use a mouse? Wired or wireless? Have you gone wireless?
Landy, I'm gonna try not to argue with you today, because I feel like and we got a lot to talk about, not just Iran. I'm I'm not a happy camper, Landy, and it's not because I don't like Trump. And that was my point with David the other day, was explaining that, like, I actually think Trump predicted his own arrival like 40 years ago in an interview on CBS, where he essentially said, you know, someone's going to come along who will be willing to do what no one else will do. He's like, it's not me, but I know people who could do it. I'd like to help get him. It became him. I give him credit for doing what no one else did in Iran and a lot of other places and a lot of other things. Landy, I'm really concerned. I know I'm really concerned that Iran doesn't want this to end. And as long as they survive in any way, shape, or form, they don't care. And they certainly won't honor any agreements. And now, you know, the foreign minister saying any deal, any even ceasefire. I don't even know why they call it a ceasefire. It's a ceasefire and they keep shooting missiles at everybody, you know, and then we have to shoot back. It has to be dependent on Israel withdrawing from Lebanon. Israel's not withdrawing from Lebanon, not happening. Maybe they won't go into Beirut, but they're not withdrawing. And that ceasefire is gone. So I don't like that Iran, Landy, is setting conditions. And what I said to David was, if my perfect world, we simply go, we're not talking to you, we're not doing anything till you remove your ships out of the strait, even though we have the blockade around you. Get, you know, clear the waters up, and B, make preparations to give us the enriched uranium or let us in. And at that point, we'll talk. Other than that, we'll just keep suffocating you, and we will actually use additional military action. And my side point, Landy, was I think Trump's already taken the hit he's going to take from military action. The polls are down on it. He's not going to get any worse. Might as well just go in and bomb him some more. Like, ain't gonna hurt the midterms any worse at this point. Like, take out some more infrastructure, keep the blockade on them, suffocate them. Maybe the regime fully collapses. But anything else, to me, Landy, is a deal that won't be honored. They will not honor any deal they make. They will not. So what did they've agreed to not make nukes? They agreed that in 2015, Landy. Like, it's meaningless. That's my view. I want more, not less.
Sure. I mean, look, nothing has changed. Nothing, absolutely nothing has functionally changed. You're being whipsawed by the narrative and you know it. This is fog of war. It's been fog of war since the very beginning. We're still striking them. They're still firing missiles. There's still a blockade on. There's nothing has changed. Nothing functionally has changed at all. And the discourse around it and the agents of chaos on all sides are just moving the narrative around. But functionally, nothing has changed. The demand that they not only stop but turn over under our supervision, the U.S.'s supervision, any enriched uranium, and to cease and capitulate to actual checks, which has expanded, by the way, from international organizations to directly the United States. None of that's changed. Like this whole notion that somehow it's always shifting and this, it's not shifting. Y'all are being bilked by the fog of war. And if you haven't figured that out yet, just go look at your timeline.
No.
Nothing has changed.
I don't agree with you. I don't think something has changed. And it's what I'm worried about is the change is, and if there's a fog of war, if I'm listening to somebody, I'm listening to the president of the United States. Now, I know he'll say things he doesn't mean, but if I hear him say one more time, we're so close to a deal, we're going to have a deal maybe by the end of the weekend, he might just be talking, Landy. My concern is once that deal is in place, that's where we're in trouble. Because once Trump makes that deal, he's not going to back away from it. He's going to say it's the best deal ever made. So what's changed for me is we seem closer and closer and closer in theory to trying to make a deal with Iran. I agree with you.
We are no closer. And if you really believe that
they're going to make a deal,
I think that you're buying. I think that you're buying into the BS. I think
Trump's
you're buying
BS.
into the fog of war. Yes, he's BSing. You know why? It's not just for the American people. It's for, you see what's happening in Iran. Look, Rob, you're a smart guy. You know exactly what's going on there between the Artesh and IRGC. You know what's going on in the political environment there. You know what's going on with their actual, with their economic situation. You know what's going on. And all he's doing is playing the same game that they play by just making promises, breaking. Look, the same day
I buy that.
He said the same day that he said that they were going to, they were so close to a deal this weekend. It was like within 15 minutes, we started launching missiles at them. Within 15 minutes, we started launching at them.
Yeah.
Trump is pulling the wool over it. This is more for them to keep them. When you have them complaining about the Americans not honoring the deal, then you know what the real game is here.
Oh, Landy,
I'm
gonna give you the benefit of the doubt here and
hope.
I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and hope you're right. If you are, and I'm not saying I have no reason to think you might not be right, because Trump absolutely says shit that he doesn't mean to make a point or to scare people or to send a message to a certain constituency, whether that's a domestic constituency sometimes, whether that's his own party, whether that's a foreign country like China or Europe or NATO. I do still have a slight concern that they are really trying to make a deal, and they're not going to give a lot away for the deal, but I don't want them to make a deal, period. I don't think that there's any deal to be made. Like, I feel like there's a deal. The deal is you do what we say, and at that point we consider not bombing or strangling you anymore.
Let me ask you this, and this is where I think that understanding what it is that Trump wants is the important part. What the United States wants. You're not. I'm going to make this a definitive statement. There is no deal unless we can go in and grab the enriched uranium. And if there is a deal made and then they disallow us to go in and grab that enriched uranium, they're getting flattened again. That's going to happen. That is the pivot point. Nothing else matters. Oh, what is happening to Rob's picture over there?
I know, right? It's doing that. David's doing it. It's what's that? Remember that thing from the 80s? That guy, remember? What was his
rocking
name?
Out?
What was the guy's name that in the MTV video?
Bro, listen, don't blame me for your.
What was the MTV video guy? You know, he would be like,
listen, you're still stuck on a rotary phone. You still use a rotary phone.
What was the MTV guy?
You look like Max Headroom.
Max Headroom. I'm Max Headroom. Ready?
That's kind of creepy. By the way, we both just dated ourselves.
Creepy is a Bitcoin monkey that your hand is up in a microphone that David can't keep his hands off, and a picture of him like mimic. I mean, that picture says it all. And that album.
Swear to God, like you are, like, listen, man. I said I'm opening up an OnlyFans account, so you can go ahead and visit me. Go ahead.
So all I'm gonna say is, now I lost the train of thought of what was really meaningful.
Oh, you're just that happens with age.
You know, David, you've taken a great page out of the left, my Max Headroom. It's when I move out of the camera. Yeah. Out of the left.
What kind of weird internet connection do you have? Are you
the internet
to buy more Bitcoin, or
it's the camera and the light?
Oh, it's the camera.
No. It's the camera and the light. When I move, it's the Logitech catching the light behind me, and if I move away from it, it goes. So all I'm going to say is, wow, I don't even know where to start here. David, that's what I want to ask.
I didn't mean to take off my jacket. I turned you on a little bit.
Are you going to walk Miami Gay Swim Week next year?
Listen, if they invite me, why, are you jealous? I feel like he's asking me out on a date.
Wow, stop wishing, David. Stop wishing.
You just ask me questions that
I don't play that way.
No straight man would ask.
I go, you know my type. You've seen my type. So
I have no clue what you're talking about, but you still continue to come onto the show, but maybe. I guess. What were you saying?
So, Landy, your last thought, you know, I don't know.
He's flustered.
No,
bro.
it's removing the uranium. Here's my concern.
He is absolutely flustered, bro.
I'm trying to break through here. Landy, I'm sure
you are.
I don't believe that they will honor anything they say, but I think they will say it and expect a certain amount of time to have to honor it. And I think their game is, the longer they wait, the more likely something makes it harder for us to re-engage militarily. Is that Trump gets impeached? Is that we lose control, Republicans lose control of Congress? Is that they somehow manage to pretend and stretch it out for 2 years and Trump's not president? Like, that's my worry.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But point being is that worry is future Rob Nelson's worry. That is the current situation has not changed. There's nothing fundamentally about the situation that has changed, right? It's all talk. That's all it is. And what did Trump say? He's like, I can wait. When he was doing that interview, he said, I can sit and wait for as long. They think they can outwait me. Okay. They think they can outwait the presidency. Okay, go ahead and try.
And I'm good with that as long as he doesn't make a deal next week. I want him to wait and wait and wait till they
I'm
are
going to tell
literally
you,
crawling.
if he makes a deal, and the deal will have to involve us going and getting the enriched uranium. If he makes a deal and that is part of the deal that is agreed to, and they do not honor that deal, he is 100%. Look, we've already restocked in that area, and nothing is fundamentally changed. They are going to feel the wrath of another campaign.
Listen, I'm with you, but I do not like a deal that says the deal is we open the strait and then we have 60 days of negotiations about what might happen with the nukes. That's my narrowed down concern. That's what's changed to me, Landy. Give us the enriched uranium, make a commitment to do it, and we'll figure out how. Not we have 60 days to talk about what you're going to agree to do. That's my concern. They are simply stalling for time, and time benefits them.
No, it doesn't. No, time benefits us, Rob. Here's why. Because we have the best intelligence apparatus on the planet, and we're watching every single move they make, and we are drawing up plans on how to absolutely. Oh my God, he's Max Headroom.
Rob, can you do?
We're drawing up plans to flatten.
Can you borrow somebody's connection?
It's not a connection. It's the camera. It's moving on the light.
Man, what is that? I've never even seen that in my life.
But I think I think I'd like to revisit this with you, Rob. If you would have me on your show, I will join your show next Wednesday, and we'll revisit this topic. Monday. We'll give it the weekend. Monday? Okay, Monday.
He's so excited.
The weekend.
David comes on Wednesday. It's his high point of his week.
I'll come on.
I think you just. I don't even think you want to talk to me about what's happening in the world. I think you just want to look at me, and that's weird. But maybe he's gonna text me after the show asking for my bathwater.
Wow! Stop projecting your fantasies out there.
I am not projecting them. When you continue to say and have these, I don't know, these fantasies about my microphone, it's just weird. At some point, you got. Okay,
I'm not the one that grabbed onto it for security.
Listen. You see, weeks ago it was a joke. Now I don't see it as a joke. I think you actually watch me every single day, 12 to 2, and you stare at this microphone. And what you do is, I don't even know, and I don't want to know what you do. I just don't want to. All I want to do, Rob, is talk to you about politics, okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Well, I don't come on here asking you to take off your shirt. I'm asking you, let's talk about, and I was about to say, you know what? I kind of agree with you here, but I'm kind of scared to say that. Because I don't know. Then you see, you start smiling and blushing.
I'm smiling because Landy, I want him to show his picture of his album cover again. Like, who has that album cover? It's like, put it back up again for people, David. Like, what the fuck? Like,
I was going to say
it's the gayest album cover I've ever seen. I just have to say.
Hey, listen, man.
I'm always happy.
I am always happy. I'm always happy. Let me say this, though. Here's where I stand with this whole situation in Iran. We can say that we can stay there all day long, and we can. We can stay there for, I don't know, God knows, decades. Great. But there are people in the United States of America, American citizens, that are done and tired with this. Like I can say I'm starting to get to the point of like, okay, great, but I don't want to see Iran with nukes, obviously. I don't want to see them with weapons. Can we speed up the process a little bit here? Because there are Americans here that the economy is hurting.
No, it's not.
The economy, okay, hold on.
Fine. I have the economic
The economy is, let's take away the stock market.
No, not talking about stock market.
There are people here in the United States of America, and if you say that it's not true, it is true. They're still working 2 to 3 jobs to get by. They're still behind on rent. We are, and it's not to Trump's doing, but we are when it comes to credit card debt, all-time high. We have
real
people.
world, here's what I would say to
We have
interrupt you.
people. I'm gonna go this far. Are you ready? We have people that are ordering food from Uber Eats and financing it.
Yeah.
We are in that position, so we need to go ahead and say, and this is where I go back to, and this is where I push back on Rob and say, Trump and the administration has a plan. And I believe that wholeheartedly. And I don't care what anybody says, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. This is just my belief that the administration does have a plan, but they need to speed it up a bit, man. Our country, the gas prices, people have to go to work, their cars.
Let's take a couple
these
minutes.
things are hitting people. If we continue not to acknowledge that these things are not reality, Republicans will lose the midterms. Let's take a couple minutes, Landy and David, and let's talk about what's happening in the domestic side. Because Landy, I know when you say the economy is not bad, I would phrase it slightly different than David did. I would say over half the country, maybe 60%, is not benefiting from the macroeconomic upsides that we're seeing. And it may show up in a couple different ways. For some people, they literally can't afford the essential cost of living. I mean, my health insurance doubled. Like, most people can't afford to pay double for their health insurance. People's rents, the gas, food. Okay. The other half. Hold on. Let me ask
people living in massive debt. The other half is people living in massive debt.
Guys, let me get a minute. You guys, and then you can talk about, Rob can talk about some weird shit, and then Landy can go and also, like, Landy, the price of gas is high, right?
Yeah, and?
You can't say and because maybe you're in a position where we can afford to pay for gas.
No.
Hold on. You're saying and, but there are people
just 3 years ago it was
hardly
higher.
making it by when the gas was at $3 and change. Now it's in New York.
Yeah,
it's in the $5s.
Go back 6 years.
This is not Trump's fault. You're not hearing me out.
Same thing.
You're not hearing.
I have a point and that I want to make.
But let me land it real quick, and I'll give you the mic. You can't say it. This is not me blaming Trump. The reason people voted for Trump is because gas prices were high. So when Trump comes into office and he lowers the gas prices, but now we're at war. Gas prices are back to where the same prices where they were with Biden. Essentially, people are going to sit there and be like, "What the fuck did I vote for?" Like now, it's expensive for me to go to work. Now I got to take the bus because it's cheaper. Like. These things are real, Landy. Like, these are real things. As a Republican, I'm saying these are real things. If we don't acknowledge them, we will lose the House.
Sure. I think that's still up for debate. As I said, read the crosstabs, and everything that I've been talking about is starting to show in all of the polling as well. But aside from that point, this situation that we are in now is the turnaround period, and there's going to be pain in between. Apparently nobody was listening years ago or a couple of years ago when I was talking about, and even last year coming into this year, talking about gas prices looking like they absolutely bottomed and they're going to rip. Didn't matter. I didn't need to know what was going to go on with Iran, Venezuela, or anybody else. You could see that no matter what, the market was going to move in that direction. We'll find out why later. And this is when you start looking at the fundamentals of the underlying economy in the United States and the data, they're improving, and it is improving. And you're here stressing about short-term volatility for long-term pain that people have been feeling for decades.
This is why we're bad. Republicans are
no. You're gonna let me finish?
We are bad. No? We are bad at communicating.
Are you gonna let me finish? Because
you just said what you just said exactly what I'm telling you is why we can't hold.
Really? You were also saying this when Republicans were polling far worse than they are, and they've been gaining ground the entire time because they're people are not happy with the Democrats. There's no out, and the best choice is still Republicans. You're also talking. You also remember that people were afraid that Trump's nominees for the primaries were going to get axed because people are upset with Trump. Didn't happen.
No, I agree.
If you're looking, hold on. hold on, I'm not done. If you go and you actually look at the trending
have to go for
polling
a while.
metrics, if you look for the trending polling metrics, I am going to go for a while because you guys don't like to listen and actually internalize what I'm
it's
saying.
not that. I
Yes,
hear
it
what you're
is.
saying. It's like
No, you don't.
You all.
I look at the
You
data.
all take in content, but you don't. You just wait.
I
to
look at the
react.
data.
You don't wait.
You guys
you
are
don't
running
actually
on
listen.
feelings. You guys are you're like the Bitcoiners that are pissing their pants.
No,
that
no,
Bitcoin
this is
traded below
reality.
60K
Landy,
because their
Landy,
feelings got hurt.
Landy,
Look at the
you know what?
data.
When
Well,
you keep on going to like, well, there must
Look
be
at the polling
getting
data.
about-
Look
Not
at the
everybody is.
crosstabs.
Not everybody is as wealthy as individuals that can go and look at 550 for gas and say,
I
"Who
get
gives a
it.
fuck?"
I'm not saying that they're not hurting. No one is saying that. The fact of the matter is you're using that as a crutch to say this is why we're going to lose this or that. That is
Yeah,
not
because
the
these are the
fundamental
voters.
reason.
Those are the voters that are on the fence.
let me
They're
say
tired-
something.
Let me say something. I had a conversation with a bunch of
Fair
people,
weather,
and you know what? A
fair
lot
weather
of them are
fans
Republicans.
don't matter.
A lot of them are Republicans, and you know what? They sat there. I'm telling you, the only thing is that
Show me
the
the
only
polling
reason
data.
why people would vote for a Republican is because they want common sense. Otherwise, they're like, "Yo, the situation is no different." It really
gotta
is
say
no
something.
different.
I got to say something. I got to jump in here between you two. I'm gonna try.
I'm a Republican, but I'm just like, can we just say that these people are suffering, and like
Brett.
our own president doesn't want to
Right.
acknowledge it.
Calm down.
Everything's great.
Hold on. I got to say something, Landy. I don't think you can be. I get what you're saying, and David may be worked up, but David's. I hate to say
I'm
he's right.
worked up because I came
All right,
from.
let me. Hey, let me finish.
I don't know where these fantasies are from. I
Let
love
me
you
finish.
guys. But,
Let
like
me
to say
finish.
that, like,
Why aren't the Democrats gaining in the polls?
Hey.
Like
How have I
$9
gotten thrown into? How have I gotten thrown into you guys here?
I'm not saying Democrats are better either.
Hey, Landy.
But, like people
Landy.
are starting to feel like the government is just not working for them.
David. First of all, Landy, there's a bigger problem here, and the problem is you can look at all the data you want. Most people don't think about data; they think about feelings, whether they're right or not. Secondly, you're calling them fair weather fans, but that's the thing, right? You can be a Jets fan and you wish that you had a different team, but you're never going to not be a Jets fan. In politics, it doesn't work that way. So you're going to pick a different candidate, or you're going to pick no candidate and stay home. My concern in the midterms is that people, Biden tried this, saying people aren't seeing what's really happening in the economy. Now, I know the economy is better now than it was then, but they use the same argument. People were like, I see what I see. I see how much I pay for gas. I see how much I pay for groceries. I see how much my health insurance is. I see how much I'm making. And that's all I care about. So they may be wrong, but their vote is what's going to matter. And to the primary thing, I never thought Trump's primary choices, I thought they would win. I thought anyone he was primarying would get knocked out. Most of the time they did. The problem is I'm not sure a lot of those people will actually win in the generals. They might in super red states, but I could see them not winning in states where their opponent is a more moderate, slightly conservative.
How many toss-ups are there? 13
in the House. In the House,
and there's 13. You know that Republicans are still hold the edge there, right? And there's 13 toss-ups, and almost all of them are lean Republican.
I know.
Right? So I'm not saying that they're going to pull through the House. My point is that there is this big fear that is on the Republican / conservative side of the aisle that somehow Democrats there's going to be a change vote, a rebellion in the vote, to send a message to Washington, D.C., to send a message to the Trump administration and to Republicans. And it's not playing out in the polling data. The polling data has been shifting in favor of the Republicans. Democrats aren't gaining as much as they were supposed to or projected to just a month ago. And it's not coming to the data is not. That's the data I'm talking about. When I said check the crosstabs before the primaries, this is when people were talking about how you're going to see Corwin, he's going to win, and you're going to see what's his name, Massey's going to win. And I said, look, you could be a Massey fan, but you have to acknowledge the underlying crosstab data. He's not going to win. Corwin's not going to win. If all it's going to take is these people are going to be primaried out. And then they said, well, okay, well, now it's after the primary. So now here's the rubber hits the road, right? So now when we go into generals, that the Republicans are going to weaken over time, and you're going to see that in the primaries that these Democrats are going to be strengthening. And that's not what we're seeing. They're actually on the decline while the Republicans are on the incline right now. And so when you say things like, because people are hurting, they are going to flip their vote, I disagree with that, because right now people who were already hurting, voted for it, and are willing to wait the process out.
I don't know about that,
because they are paying attention to what's
I don't know about
happening
that
in the
second part,
underlying
Andy.
data.
Andy, I will say this, having spent a lot of time in politics, I kind of follow, and James Carville's kind of lost off his rocker these days.
James Carville's always been an idiot.
No, but in the 90s, he wasn't an idiot, and he really did
Yes, he
figure out
was.
how to get. Well, I don't know. I knew him, and he wasn't an idiot. And I saw what he
I
did
knew him
inside the
too.
White House.
He's a
Well, he
frickin'
got
moron.
he and George Stephanopoulos figured out how to get Clinton elected. And I think there's one truth that I will always say about voters, which is, I don't disagree with you. I just think the data falls apart. It's why polling can be flaky. It's why someone can underpoll and overperform, overpoll and underperform. I think it's almost reading tea leaves at some level. What I'm concerned with in the midterms is it's a midterm. You're going to get lower turnout. I'm worried a lot of Republicans aren't going to vote. I'm worried a lot of independents aren't going to vote, and those who do might vote Democratic. And I'm worried that the Democrats, with their frenzy and the way they've stirred up the world's coming to an end message, which seems to have somehow gotten in people's heads that they actually believe it, like Trump's going to be the end of the world. I'm worried that they will get high turnout. And again, it's not the end of the world if they flip the House, and it's probably harder to flip the Senate. I think if they flip both, it's just more circular. We're just going to go around in circles, and I'm tired of it. I think people are getting tired of politics. I don't think we're going to see what you said, Landy. We're not going to see a big correction.
There's no blue wave. There's no blue wave. There's no evidence of it.
I don't know that there's any wave. I think people are getting tired of it, but I think that might work in favor of the Democrats.
Why don't you guys hearing me out, man? Like,
How?
I am a Republican telling you that there is a problem. Like that's all
We know what the problem
I'm not going against my party. I'm saying that, hey, I'm driving a car and it seems like we have low pressure on the left side, passenger side tire. That's all I'm saying. Why is it so hard? Why?
But you're drawing the false equivalence that
I'm
that
not.
is the reason that it's going to follow through to the generals.
I am telling you, and you know what? I can't believe
It's emotion.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Rob. This is crazy.
It's a tough
And
day
I
for
can
you.
go to the
David. I know
doctor and
it's a
get
tough
checked
day.
out for this.
It's a
Hey,
tough
get
day
my
to
head
take a break
examined.
after this.
But it is based on feelings, Landy. Like, it really is based on feelings. If people feel that they're not being paid if there's no attention being paid towards them, and they feel like they feel it at the pump and they feel it at the store, they feel it everywhere that they go, they will vote for Gavin Newsom. It's what happens.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not saying he's good.
Yeah,
You know what goes on that?
they'll vote for Gavin Newsom as long as they can wait for a 2 a.m. drop in the morning.
All I'm saying,
Fortunately for both of you, Gavin Newsom can't run. So that's it. Oh, you mean for president?
for
Okay.
president.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying in general is that it's not that the Democrats are better. That's not what I'm saying. It's not that Democrats are better. It's just that when you don't acknowledge people, when they're yelling to you and saying that I'm suffering, or when they're telling you there's a fire in the building, you're like, nah, don't worry. Like, that type of shit is going to make them vote for somebody else and a different party, just like they gave Trump
So
another shot because they were like, you know what? We had a good economy under Trump. I remember those days. And we need a leader. We need somebody who has a pulse. We need somebody who can obviously go over and mend relationships with these countries that we no longer have relationships with. But when it comes down to it, the voters that really show up are the ones that are suffering right now. Like, I'm just keeping it, whatever. Like,
So,
you guys can tell me that I'm an idiot and it's all good.
Hey,
You know what?
First of all, I'm the one that's saying the same thing. So don't try to jump the shark on my view here. But
No,
Landy,
I love
I'm
Landy.
Hey,
I agree. I love both of you guys. No Diddy, but I'm just saying, like,
hey, David,
as a proud Republican,
he can't hear.
as a proud Republican, and I'm a
he can't hear.
big time
David,
Republican.
Can you hear us, or to David? So, all right, I agree with you, by the way. But
You
here's
hear
what I
me,
want,
and I'm going to keep talking over your ass. But
because
at the end of the day, those are facts.
okay, I'm actually agreed with most of those facts. Landy, here's the last thing I will say about how I think voters work, and it's a weird thing. The closest analogy I get in my head is, let's say you have I don't know, I'm going to just say take a girlfriend. That's a good example, you know? And she tells you something's really like, she's really upset about something or really scared about something or just really upset. And your reaction is, you don't have any good reason to be upset. And here's why. And logically, you might be right. There's no good reason for you to be upset about this right now or be scared of this right now because nothing's going to happen to you that you're scared of and you're going to be fine. That almost never works, right? In psychology, right? Man, my Max Headroom's going. That almost never works in psychology, right? It makes people feel really angry and dismissed. And I'm worried that that's what Trump is doing, sort of saying, you're not having problems.
That's not what he said, and that's not what the administration.
Well,
if you pay attention to the administration, that's the media narrative. No, this is the disconnect between media narrative and messaging from the administration. This same thing happened under Biden as well. Because trust me, for as much as I did not care for Biden, there was a few things that the administration was right about. There was even being the massive L that a lot of it was, there was a few things that they were right about. And in this case, what I am pointing to is the data that polling is showing us that we have consistently seen come to fruition versus the narrative that's being built. The narrative is being built is that Trump bad, Iran bad, gas prices higher, you're all suffering, economy's terrible, middle class gutted, K-shape, 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 K-shape. And in reality, the polling shows that it's not making it through. The result in what was projected all of last year, and especially post actions in Iran, that there's going to be a blue wave. That blue wave is nowhere to be found, and it's going to be nowhere to be found for various reasons. Not just in part due to what's showing up in the crosstabs, but also what's showing up post Supreme Court ruling for the race-based districting. And then you have to also take into account that there is federal oversight for mail-in ballots for elections now. There's all kinds of other things that are happening behind the scenes that the Democrats and the Republicans that utilize these systems to stay in power are having to contend with. And the public is not trending in the way in which you guys are talking about at this particular moment. And if they so much as do get a little bit of relief coming into the summer lull in gas prices, guess what? They're going to feel a lot better about it because job numbers are way up. You got employment is back. We saw a little bit of a downtick in wage growth, but that's just temporary. That's week to week. And then we're seeing that the actual base here in the United States for jobs has been expanding, despite the large tech corporations and all the cuts that we were facing coming into this year and all the drawdown in the larger corporations and the AI scare and all that kind of stuff. Look, when the public's looking at this, one of the things that the public is angry about is just the representatives in general on both the Democrat and Republican side, right? And when you look at what the Democrats have, they don't have a unified message. They're all over the place. They're even infighting right now over specific candidates. Then the narrative, though, in the media is being painted that this is only on the Republican side. Democrats are at a distinct disadvantage. Their blue wave is being blunted, and they're going to go to even more and more extremes in terms of messaging to try and make up the gap. Maybe they do take the House. I find it very difficult. I don't really see a viable path in the data for them in the Senate. The other thing on the Republican side is this notion that, oh my God, if they flip the House and the Senate, they're going to impeach Trump. They're going to get him out of vote. They're not going to be able to. You need 2/3. They're not going to get 2/3. It's just not going to happen. That is an unrealistic fear that is being pushed and perpetuated by think tanks out of Europe through to the United States, that is pushing that to try and say, well, we need to change. We need a change here on the ground so that we could put more pressure, because otherwise, if we don't get these, they're not going to be able to, these candidates, we're not going to be able to run against this Democrat. And quite frankly, Trump mopped the floor with them. I don't care if you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump. He mopped the floor in the primaries. And he's going to, I think we're going to see, heading closer into election day, we're going to see that things actually start to turn for Republicans. And once that levee breaks, you're going to see a despondent turnout on the Democrat side, because they're losing ground within their own party and they don't have a good, viable, cohesive message. They have pockets of messaging, and then they're just counting on the media to try to suppress the Republican vote. I don't think they're going to get that. I think Democrats have a good shot at flipping the House by 1 or 2, and then they lose the Senate, or the Republicans hold the Senate in this case. Democrats probably flip it by 1 or 2 in the House. Republicans hold the Senate. We see the dog and pony show of pushing impeachments that go nowhere either way. And I think it's unfounded fears. The economy starts to roar coming into next year. And I think we see very sharp corrections in the economy. And when we see that in terms of the underlying economic data, because once we do see things settle down in the Middle East, it will take time for the lower gas prices to actually work their way through the system. That would be a sharp correction down. We'd see inflation fall off a cliff.
Warm me up.
I'm wrong. I'm willing to stand on that hill and die on it.
No, I'm not.
David, you're muted.
Himself.
I say shout out to Brandon Cooper. He's in the chat. Shout out to him. Longtime friend. Marvelous builder. Relax yourself over there, Rob. Okay, don't slide into his DMs.
I'm super relaxed.
We know. Thank you, boys here, for coming on to the show and breaking this all down. The guy heated a little bit, but it's okay. We came out hopefully better for it. You can tune into Rob's show. By the way, you'll have Landy on next Wednesday. Landy apparently is going to take my spot.
No, Landy's coming on Monday.
Okay. Damn it. So you will see Landy on Monday.
You bailed on last week. You're just going to start bailing. I know you're scared to go one-on-one with me on my show. Why don't you show your album?
Monday, 9 p.m. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have Landy on Rob Nelson show. Rob Nelson is a veteran from mainstream media. That's right. Had a show on Fox. He's doing some OnlyFans stuff right now. But you can tune in to Rob Nelson on the G Media Network.
Are you going to be there? Are you going to be there on Wednesday?
Yes, I will be.
All right.
And also, Landy has his show Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays where he breaks down the markets. And today is Friday, and it's 2:34 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Landy will break down the markets, and he will be
8 p.m. today, David.
You're doing it at 8?
Yeah, live stream. We're going to do a live stream. I'm bringing on some guests, some other analysts to take a look at the charts with me. At 8 p.m., we're going to do the live stream until 9 p.m. Maybe it goes a little bit longer than that. So there you go. There you have it. And they're going to be river dancing on your nuts, because they're going to be like, hey, Bitcoin's going to $3.44. So $3.44. Tune in. I'm going to place my bids now. Tune in. On that note, again, I do Rob, look, that's how you should have started the show. Okay. You should have been behind that tree. Okay. Where you weren't like doing that shit the entire time.
You know, you just make me so nervous.
The Max Headroom version of Rob is hilarious. I
You're
actually
gonna-
enjoyed
you're
that.
gonna
Pulled out
show
one of those 1980s MTV videos and shit.
You're gonna show your. You're gonna show. Yeah. Speaking of which, you're gonna show your little Nirvana like,
See, look,
wannabe
look, he gets excited.
book cover.
Look at that.
I just can't believe you made that album cover. I was like, is this a joke? Is he being serious? Your album cover. I was like, is this a joke or is he serious?
Let's see if hold on. Let me see what happens if I do this. Hold on. Hold on a second. Let's test. Yo, Landy, me and you are gonna see right now. Rob, hang on here for a second. Me and Landy gonna see. Let me see which way you're batting. Hold on one second.
Just so everyone knows, as David puts this up, this is his debut album that has the cover of Rump Shaker on it. It says, all I want to do is a zoom, 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 zoom,
And a
zoom,
boom,
and
boom.
boom, boom. Just shake your rump. This is from that album. This was his debut cover album.
Yeah, we want to know which way I go. Did you guys see that? What's her name? Cindy, whatever. On the Miami Swim Week. It's gone viral.
Wait, Sydney Sweeney? Wait,
no, Cindy.
Cindy.
What's her name? She's got a weird last name. It's like a stage name. She's all over the internet. She was on Miami Swim Week. She's on Sports Illustrated model. She's got a body nonstop.
Let's see what he thinks about this. Let's see what watch Rob's reaction. Everybody look at his face when I put this on.
Oh boy.
Wow.
See?
You
You caught that? Clip that up.
He only started doing this once it was Pride Month. Did you notice that, Rob?
No.
During Pride Month, he put out the selfie in the car.
He's like, look at me, I'm the Hulk. I'm Arnold. I am Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Rob, I took that down because I know how. Look at your face. You're blushing. You're really excited about that.
I gotta be honest. It's like you look prehistoric to me.
Okay, that's
like
fine.
an ape.
Hey, listen,
good job, man. Like you should do shows like that. See what you'll get. Seriously, you might consider an OnlyFans account. You'd get between that and your album cover, you could get a lot of guys. I mean, you're not gonna get many girls, but you get a lot of guys, man. You make a whole
man, the hate is real, bro. The hate is real.
David's going to be performing his cover of Rump Shaker. For those that don't know, that's by Rex and Effects. That's a 90s cover. It's a great album. David really loved it a lot. So he's going to be doing his cover only on OnlyFans. So you can find David there probably all night.
Anyway. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. I had two wonderful assholes on today, and I'll have them back next week. All right, they're a part of Gokhshtein Media, man. The two assholes here. One does TA and one does politics, and is just a younger version of what's his name?
Stop while you're ahead.
What'd he say?
Stop while you're ahead. Younger version of
Bill O'Reilly. That's it. He's a younger version of Bill O'Reilly. That's it. There you go. That's a compliment.
I'll take it.
That's a compliment.
Somebody said,
"Now,
where can I find David on Grindr?"
They're looking for
the hate. Hey, listen, man. You know when they say that about I'm just saying, most good-looking guys, people always throw that term out there, and so. Listen, it's okay.
Listen to him pat himself on the back. He said,
"I can pat myself on the back all the time. I am my biggest fan. You know that."
Wow, he's the only fan. He's the only.
I'm the only fan. That's fine. That's fine. Anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Good to be here.
See you on the next show.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
Go pick up some horse shit. Rob, you go pick up that horse shit, okay? Go pick up that horse shit. Anyway, we'll be back with the quote of the day. It's Friday. We'll be back. I did my job, right? I did my job. TikTok, how you feeling? We did it. TikTok, if you love me, hit me with those likes. TikTok, if you love me, hit me with them likes. Hit your boy with some likes. Show me some love. When you ever go get a good-looking gentleman like this, podcasting out here, intelligent, articulates himself really well. Got my own people accusing me of things. All right. Bitcoin's currently in the 60s, meaning 60,000 and change. So I don't know who's saying this, but we will survive. You know the song. Anyway, we'll be back right after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the show. It is 2:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and my ass is... I'm gonna try to fucking crawl to get myself my hair cut. Couldn't do it yesterday. I want to thank everybody who tunes in. It's Friday. In New York, it's gonna be a horrible weekend because it's gonna rain. Today's the only sunny day, so I'm gonna still try to get some sun in and enjoy the day. Got a few other things to work on. Do appreciate I do definitely appreciate everybody who tunes in every week. Next week we got some guests coming on. That should be fun. We'll have people that we'll be talking about memes and Bitcoin and all that good stuff. So Monero, privacy, things related to the crypto markets. And I think I'm gonna bring on some people from just the traditional markets as well. I think it's time to bring some people in here to go ahead and talk about that. But quote of the day is really, it costs you nothing to be nice, right? Let me say that again. It costs you nothing to be nice. listen, don't be nasty to people. Don't make shit up about people. Just be nice. Like, you don't, but you know, it's crazy. You don't like somebody, just fucking go the other way. Keep it moving. I think it's hard for people to do that. I think it is. It's hard for people to fucking just go on their way. Go enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Not that serious. Not that serious. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. And on that note, have a great day and an even better tomorrow. Shout out to my boy, Akil Patterson.